But what I'm going to do today is work on picture frames. So to figure how long I need to cut, I'm going to figure a rough cut, and also I'm going to figure a final cut on the miters at the long end. So what I'm doing is 11 inch by 14 inch. That's the size of the picture that's going in this thing. So to figure, so we'll start with 11 inch. So you take 11 inch, okay, and you add the sides. In other words, if it's 11 inch wide, the 14 inch sides, you add those to it. So it's 2 inches what we're using, so it would be 4 inches. You know, one for each side, it'd be 4 inches. So you're adding 4 inches. Okay, the rabbet, you got to subtract the rabbet from it. The rabbet is 3/8. You got one on each side, so you double 3/8, that's 3/4. Okay, so that equals 11 plus 4 is 15. Subtract 3/4, that is 14 1/4. And that's final cut. All right, we need to know for now the rough cut. Because when you're taking and you're cutting this board that we got for each one of them, you're losing 1/8 of an inch every time you make a cut. So in other words, we got to add for the curve. So I add for both ends. I know one end will be counted on the other, but you gotta have some fudge somewhere. So on that, actually, well, I seen I did that wrong, didn't I? 3/4 from 15. That's a quarter right there. How about that? 14 1/4. Okay. So if I'm gonna add a curve from each side, that's 2/8 is a quarter. Because it's the rough cut is a 14 1/2. And this is 3 inches longer. So the rough cut there would be 17 1/2. All right, and then your final cut for the long side would be 17 1/4. Glad I caught that right there. But that's the way I figure them. So it is the length. All right, equals 2 times the sides. Subtract. We're adding right here. 2 times the size, then 2 times the rabbet, and you're subtracting it. And that will equal the final cut. So I got me a piece of pine here. Decided to make mine a pine, being so I've got it. Plus, we're gonna use our technique and stain. So what I have, see the little warp to this thing? what I decided to do is a little bit. Over the whole thing, that's significant. But if you break it down into shorter sections, which if you remember, our rough cut come to 17.5 and 14.5, two of each. So what I've decided to do, because the shorter you make these, the less wobble each one will have. I'm gonna go ahead and rough cut them, and then I think the things will work better. So by shortening it, I got just a little wobble. We cut it down, so now when I do the 2-inch, it'll even be less. We choose pines, that's what we had readily available, but it's not going to be the stablest. Ideally, it would have been better to, before you cut it into short sections, do everything you're going to do, and then make your miter cuts, and everything will be done. But because of the little twist it had in it, it's like now it's just barely, you can just barely feel it. So I think we'll be fine, but we got to do them individually now. So we're going to do a profile now. We're going to go to right over table. Well, why don't we cut the 3/8 rabbet. It'd be 3/8 deep, 1/4 inch tall. That's going to be the rabbet. We can do that here. So we got a 2-inch piece. We're 3/8 in. So from the fence to the inside is 1 5/8 inches. 1/4 inch deep. So I got the blade set 1/4 inch above the deck. So we're ready to cut the rabbets. Now that we got the rabbet cut, on the outside of the I'm going to have a little taper, say from here in, a little taper, and it kind of draws your eyes to the art photograph. So we're going to do that on the table, so we'll do that next. Now I've got the profile that I'm looking for. We can go ahead and cut the miters. Some time ago, I can't remember exactly now what came up, and I threw this miter sled together, and it served the purpose. I really need to make me a better one and dial it in and make it more accurate. So this one's off just a little bit. It's this way. If you cut your first cut here and the second cut there, time you go around, you're going to be fine. But I'd rather have one that, it doesn't matter. Just cut either one and it's right. But this is what I got now. And I'll show you how we take care of this right here. If you remember, the long one is 17 1/4 final cut. I'm going to go a 1/16 over. Just make double sure that it's not going to be an issue when we put this thing together. 1/16 on each is not a lot. You figure a 1/16 and then half it on each side, just 32nd. But it's a little bit of insurance. So I'm going to go 17. It was 1/4. I'm going to go 5/16 and then 14 5/16, and put this thing and go ahead and get these things cut. So 17 5/16. Right there. That's where we're going to have to cut it. I get the first one measured, and then I'll put me a stop block over here. And actually, believe it or not, a stop block would take care of all 4 sides. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and fix the stop block now. That way, if it's a tick off one way or the other, because the key to this thing is getting your 2 sides, rails or stiles, you're getting them the same length, get the 2 sides the same length. That is key. If it's off a 32nd, they both need to be off a 32nd. So let me show you what I'm planning on doing right here. I got this double-sided tape, and we're going to set that right there. So let me okay. Are we still there? We need to make sure we're still there. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do with all of them, I'll start here, like I did this one, cut that, then I will come over here, put it right there. This will ensure that both long pieces will be the same length. Now, if you remember, it's 11 by 14, which is 3 inches difference. I got a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 stop block. So the short sides will come in here like this. That makes it 3 inches shorter. So that'll take care of that. So we got one stop block doing them both, if you know what I mean. So let's go ahead and get these things cut. So that's got our picture frame where the the glass and arc goes. Got that. So what we need to do now is glue it up. Forgot about the chamfer. Just something, if it round over something around where the inside of the, I don't know, no more than that little chamfer is, it's going to change the looks of the whole picture. So what we're going to do now, we're going to check everything, make sure we ain't got no frayed out anything that, yeah, there's some right there. We need to clean all of that up. And also, what I do when on the matters, yeah, they're a little weaker, but there's not a lot of square inches right there, not a lot of surface area. But these are the end grain, and what I do, I just take the glue and put a thin layer over all the end grains and let it set up. And that'll draw in that those straws for the end grain and stop that up and give it something to adhere to. I have better look at it. However, we're going to put a spline in it anyway, but I do that just to make the joint stronger. I'll show that to you here in a second. So I think I've got the those ends covered up enough to where what we can do, I'm going to take some tape, kind of help us right here. See if we can't we get that tied together, so that'll help us hold it together, wouldn't it? The third hand. Seems like everything I do, I need a third hand. Yeah, that tape's gonna help us a lot. Well, I probably need to tape that one when I get the glue on it. What do you think? Well, let's go ahead and see if we can't glue this thing up. Kind of like that thing stand up. Okay. Okay, sorry. Let's go to gluing. I got this box clamp, ratchet strap type deal. I'm gonna, this tape help hold, but that little fella there, you'll see it. It's fixing to put some pressure on it. Well, seems to be lining up. Here we go. All right, we'll just let that set up, and when we come back, when that sets up, we'll get them splines cut. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. It's good and square. I think it's been sitting long enough. We're gonna So I've made this spline jig work off it slides up and down the fence, and let me do a little checking here. So I'm gonna go go an inch and a Okay, I'm gonna go 1.5 inches. I think that'll be plenty. So what this thing's designed to do is just have this kind of flat top saw blade. So we'll go ahead and cut these and get them splines in there. So I found this piece of oak. It's 3/16 thick. The blade cuts an 1/8, so I need to work this thing over till this thing will fit it. So there's plenty of room, because one thing I've noticed, and I've been guilty of it too, time you put the glue in it, because what you want to do, anytime something moves to fit, you need to glue both surfaces. Where it just presses together, one surface is all you need. So to glue this, then push it together. That glue, the moisture in the glue makes the wood swell up, and more times than not, you can get that too tight. And once you get it all glued up, it makes it tough to back up. But that's plenty loose right there. I think we'll be fine. So let me get these other 3 cut, and we'll go to gluing them up. All right, so let's go glue this. Well, we need to mark this off. Now, I'll cut these on the bandsaw. gluing this up right here, I got some fray right here. If you ain't careful, it'll get in there just about the time you get the glue on there and you can't see it. It gets tight. It'd be better to get that stuff off there before we get in trouble. This will definitely strengthen up them corners. I like it adds a bit of beauty to it, a little character. So what I'm gonna do, like I say, you need to glue when something goes together, pushed together. I like to glue both surfaces. Plenty of glue. You go to the trouble of doing this, you will. Make sure that plenty of glue. Yeah. I've glued that together before, and before you can get pushed all the way in, it seizes up on you. It's not super loose, but it's loose enough. I mean, it's loose enough where there is no problem going together. But if you kind of got a push on it, by the time you put the glue on it, it won't never make it. Or you have you stand a chance of breaking it. You get this far in the game, well, why ain't you take a chance on it? One thing I try to do, make sure that thing's pushed all the way in. If it, on these corners right here, if it's not all the way in, it leaves a gap right there. All right, look like we're together on this one. With that glue in it, you can't tell. Well, let me get the rest of these glued up. That's basically it right there. I glue both surfaces, push it together. So when that sets up, the next thing we'll do, I'm gonna cut them, get them close and sand them down. We'll do all of our sanding. Then we'll be ready to stain. Yeah, so we'll let that set up. You go to cutting and all on it. We need that thing set up. So. Well, I think they're set up enough now, but we can go ahead and get it cut. I'm going to take the bandsaw and I'm going to cut what's hanging off, and then hopefully I can get it close more and just sand the rest of it down where it needs to be. So we got everything around the sides. If I got this thing ready for stain, that's when it comes to life. Yep. when it comes along. All right, let me get set up here. So I think we got it like we wanted. I think we're gonna put some stain on it. I am using Golden Oak 210B. Again, we're looking for a rustic, antique-ish, kind of old picture going in this. Well, let's let that soak it up. Then we'll come back and do the back side. We'll put a coat on it. So it's dry. I'll just run me a coat of shellac over it just to seal it up. I think it has turned out exceptionally well. So I got this sawtooth hanger. So this is going to be the top. So I'm going to put this sawtooth hanger right in the middle right there. So the first thing we got to do is find the middle. Okay. I've got 7 almost a half, 7 3/16, right, 7 3/16 right there on each side. Okay, so that's the center. So I'm going to take this. Okay. Okay. Now, let's turn the right side up as we're looking at it. I've got the glass. We're going to set it right. Boy, it just does fit. You remember that 30-second that I was for insurance? It's a good thing I did it. Because that thing is pretty close. Without the 30-second, it would have been too close, I think. But anyway, it fit. It's a good thing. Now, we take the backing and the picture, and it goes right there, and it fit fine. All right, and the way I secure it in, because I don't have, I like to get one of them little guns where you shoot that little piece of metal in it where you can bend them back. That would be way too cool. So what I've got is little pin nails. I'm going to set it right there. I'm going to take its channel locks. Okay. Got this little piece of wood to keep from scarring up that picture frame. Okay, we'll just work our way on around through there. We'll take and mash it just a little bit. So we'll just work our way on around. Then we'll see a final product. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I think they turned out quite nice. Well, that's how you fix a picture frame out of pine wood. Stained and looks a little rustic, antique-ish, old-timey. Fits the old-timey people in the picture, don't it? Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching. Just had some leftover pine, made some, I think, pretty nice picture frames, don't you? Again, I appreciate you watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one.